All right, TGI Friday, February 19th, 2022. Still waiting on an arbitration decision from arbitrator Ramel. Uh, Still believe no news is good news. The longer we wait, I think the better of the decision it's going to be. Um, we did have arbitration yesterday, day two of the 12-hour day cancellation days of RDOs with the city. It was very powerful testimony by a couple of our members, along with a sergeant. I will tell you this: we're going to have a third day sometime in March because the first deputy is a coward and is ducking a subpoena to show up and testify in person why he continually arbitrarily canceled RDOs and extended to 12-hour days in the last 6 months for no rhyme or reason, just because they wanted bodies on the weekend. And we've subpoenaed him, and the city keeps saying he's not available to testify. He's not available to testify because he is so busy. But he is not so busy to micromanage promotional lists to narcotics or anything else, where he routinely goes through suggestions from other department members for transfer orders and saying no, 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 because he wants specific people in those positions. He's not too busy for that. Another person that's apparently not too busy for accountability is the chief of IAD, Yolanda Talley. What a joke, right? And I'm not even saying that this scandal goes all the way to her desk or her phone. Maybe she had no knowledge of what her niece was doing with her car, but it's fairly certain this wasn't the first time. I don't think the first time you start taking delivery of heroin, you have that much of a load with you. So pretty safe to say that six-time felon had done this before. Whether it was in that car or not, we shall see. But there's going to be FOIAs going out for that vehicle, that plate number, and how many times it's been stopped in the past, and how many times that this driver has used the excuse of who my aunt is, because I'm certain it's happened before. But the reality is, because she's the chief, there is no repercussions. Because she's in Carter's inner circle, and by that she's in Brown's inner circle, there will be no repercussions. There will be no, you're getting reassigned pending an investigation. Think about all the knee-jerk reactions over the last 2 years by this department, stripping officers and sending them somewhere just because. Poor officer does his job and takes the subject to the ground, and he gets put at callback for several months, over a year, before he finally got reinstated and then thankfully promoted. Our members are always subjected to the bottom of the barrel. This is absolutely another example of rules for thee and rules for me. She is the chief of internal affairs. Her car was used to deliver narcotics, whether she was aware of it or not. The simple, view of that and possible impropriety should subject her to being forced out of that position, effective immediately, period, until the investigation is complete. But that hasn't happened because that's not the way this department operates. It is literally backwards, and shame again on other exempt rank members who complain about the way this department is ran for not stepping up publicly and saying enough is enough. It's disgraceful. But I can tell you, we just had day one of phase two for contract negotiations discussions with the city, trying to just get a timeline and some topics and priority lists together on how we're going to go forward from here. The way it's going to happen is really simple. We're going to provide a detailed list of priorities, topic-wise, to the city from what we already tendered to them, kind of reprioritize how we want to go about it. And they're going to provide their subject matter experts in those areas to be on these Zoom calls, so we're not doing these little micromanaging subcommittees where someone then has to report to somebody else. I said if we're going to do this, we absolutely need to do it where we have concrete answers, yes or no, as we go along, and not we have to get back to you. That nonsense has to stop. We were pretty clear. We expect a 3-month commitment like they had given last year after the conclusion of phase one for this part of it that got totally thrown on the back shelf. And there's our friends at Local 2 going by. Be safe. Yesterday, we had a great verdict in 26th and Cal. I will put a shout out to the state's attorneys who pitched that case. One of them is Kim Fox's number 2, and definitely routinely throwing policemen under the bus and attacking them and charging them criminally. Not really our friend, but I will give hats off. She did a phenomenal job yesterday starting the closing arguments as the number 2 chair. But to think that this criminal justice system is made up of professors like the one who testified on behalf of the defense that teaches law for several decades at the University of Chicago, represents murderers and everything else under the sun, who was ridiculous as an expert witness for the defense. But that person has been teaching lawyers for decades. Those lawyers are becoming prosecutors, public defenders, and judges. It is no mystery why this justice system is so upside down. That poisoned mind who literally would make excuses for any criminal, including the likes of a Charles Manson, who would have an excuse why he should be let out. She literally said Sergeant Wortham, Tom's father, who actually tried to save Tom's life and shot 2 of the offenders, was a possible victim, or a possible witness, I am sorry. When asked if he was a witness, she said possibly. I mean, with a straight face. And that there's other excuses. Amnesia. I have amnesia because I was committing a crime and participating in a crime, a felony, and got shot. So I lost blood, and I can't remember conveniently the incidents right before, during, or after the robbery and shooting. And she's literally with a straight face saying he may be able to provide testimony in his defense on why he was there. I don't know if he's friends or likes his cousin that he was walking down the street with for quite a lengthy period of time prior to the robbery. But, you know, I guess in her mind that he didn't like his cousin and he was setting him up to be shot by Sergeant Wortham and killed. I mean, it's ludicrous what is passing for common sense, and it's disgusting that these universities are pumping out and allowing these professors to poison people's minds and messing up society for the rest of us. It needs to stop. And the political realm is where it's at. I made my comments last week about the increase in union dues. I will say, if anybody was concerned, I could tell you I got 11 emails in total. I appreciate everybody not blowing up the lodge's phones in support or opposition and letting the support staff do their work. But when it came to emails, I received 11 emails. 4 or 5 of them in support, 4 or 5 in clarification requests, and 2 probably against. I responded to every single one of them. So I think the membership gets what we're trying to do. I certainly hope the politicians understand what's coming. We have a couple officers running for office. We will be out helping them get signatures. So stay tuned for that. Lastly, I will say Paul Vallis put out a piece talking about merit promotions within the department and the result of that. And I got to tell you, if you didn't see it, please go look at it. It's a pretty accurate description of why we are where we are in this department today. I don't know when this changes. God forbid if we have to wait till next year when there's a new mayor in office. But to think that you're allowing the current staff to stay in place with back-to-back 800-year murders. And this mayor is so spiteful. The only reason that's occurring is because I keep saying they should be fired. And she will not do it because I say they should be fired. So, Superintendent Brown, I guess you're welcome for the ghost payrolling position that you're applying for. Carter, I guess you're too busy applying for other jobs and trying to get out of Dodge before he gets fired and you have to go with him. And the rest of the exempt staff, shame on you. It's never too late to do the right thing. Grow a pair, step up, and say what's right in defense of the members and the men and women who are defending this city. That's all I have to say. Have a good weekend.